Not everything is going well for Marvel. I mean, yes, Deadpool and Wolverine is making a ton of money at the box office. And yes, San Diego Comic Con turned them into the rock stars that they once were by having Robert Downey Jr. back on stage, this time as, quote, Dr. Doom. And I think that things fell through the cracks was that there is actually two other projects here, Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts, which come sooner and no one is talking about. So, what happened? What is the story about? What did we actually learn about Captain America Brave New World? Well, the first thing and the biggest thing is yes, there is Red Hulk. And yes, it looks like Harrison Ford. And yes, General Ross is Red Hulk. And I think that some comic book folks I felt were baited into because I read it. I read the Red Hulk books. I read 6 or 7 issues. I was frustrated that you got to get into like 20 something issues before you actually find out what's going on. I don't know this was exactly enough information to get people excited about the Captain America thing because this is about Captain America. It's not about this guy. So what is actually going on here is still sort of like vague and undescribed and cloaked and didn't create a lot of enthusiasm. And let's be honest, does Harrison Ford create a lot of enthusiasm these days? I mean, after what's happened with Blade Runner and then Indiana Jones, is anyone thrilled about the Harrison Ford announcement? I think that it's probably one of the bigger mistakes that they will look back and realize they could have cast someone who was more kind of an up and coming kind of big name. Like, I mean, you need an old guy. I get it, but that's just not it. So this was one of the biggest things was people got a little bit more of a look at the Red Hulk and some of that in action. Well, the biggest news, of course, is Giancarlo Esposito has been cast as Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society. We're going to get the Serpent Society, I guess. I don't think that we have totally details. Are we going to get all the Serpent Society or just a couple of members of the Serpent Society? So, anyway, this dates back. Talk about a whole big bait and switch. This is the Steve Rogers era that was just truly tremendous. They started back into like the mid 80s. I think it's 310, I think is the issue. There's just some great books. The thing about those issues is Mark Gruenwald did these books where they just kind of like not a lot happens and just everything just kind of keeps churning along and you just realize that you've read like 20 comic books. So Serpent Society, of course, has a ton of different snake names. I don't know if we're going to get Bushwhacker and Cottonmouth and we're going to get all these different serpents. Some of them have long presences in Marvel, some don't. I feel like this is their effort to sort of like because Captain America has so many grounded elements in the comic book. This was that Winter Soldier feel, but this is look at. I mean, are we going to be excited about a bunch of serpent people who are like, oh, they're going to try to do what? What are they going to do? Well, that's what else we find out in the trailer. So the big reveal is that Celestial, remember that thing that happened in the Eternals, that movie that nobody wants to talk about? That is the source of adamantium, right? There's this big thing there. It's made of adamantium, the strongest metal on the planet. Everyone's going to want it. And yes, including the Harrison Ford General Ross. So we're going to tie that Eternals element in at least a little bit. And that's what we're going to have here. So I don't know if anyone cares, if anyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, I should watch Eternals because, dear Lord, I'm not watching Eternals again. It is the worst of the worst, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's kind of this plot point is here's this thing. Everyone's going to fight about it. I can turn into the Red Hulk. Here's Captain America and his, let's see him, the new Falcon. I guess there's really not a lot of footage of Falcon himself, but we get Cap Falcon, right? We get this red, white, and blue suit. I don't know if you guys are thrilled about the CGI of this. I can't stand any of that. I hate all of the suit designs, the elements, the colors, the fact that he's still not super soldiered. Like he's just a regular dude. Like the Hulk could just hit him with anything, a tree, just hit him with anything and kill him. He's not a super soldier. Like it's so dumb that this was a direction that Marvel wanted to go. Forget about the movies. Just forget about MCU for a minute. The fact that Marvel wanted to do Captain America, Sam Wilson, oh, it's just so dumb. And just that it's not Bucky and shouldn't be Bucky makes no sense. Never have understood it. So this is what we're going to get. I don't know. Maybe some people are excited about this weird amalgam. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's an amalgam for me of Captain America and Falcon. Like we go back to like the 90s, that 95 series where they did like amalgam characters. Yeah, that's kind of how this feels for me. And basically the trailer is just riddled full of like quick cut ups of like Winter Soldier wannabe moments. just a ton of random stuff that's all intercut and interspliced together. We're supposed to believe that it's action that we want. There's moments like this. Okay, this makes okay. There's no. Why on earth would both soldiers come at him from about like with their little power stick things? Like he doesn't even have the suit on. Oh, dear Lord. Look, here's another shot of the exact same thing. He just pushes them away. All right. Well, there's Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. I don't see him in the suit in the trailer. I went back and tried to watch the whole thing just to make sure I didn't miss it. Uh, so underwhelming. Such a generic vanilla character. I don't know what to say. I think that Marvel has such a massive problem on their hand where they don't want to face the reality that fans love what fans love. Some of these things were timeless. They've been able to massage that and make things way more popular than they were for decades. So they made Cap and Iron Man and Thor household names, made those actors and stars A-listers, right? And for decades, those comic books were pretty midland or slow sales with good runs or good sequences. So you might have a good artist slash writer on something for a period of time, couple years here and there. Then it'd be a slump for a while, come back, have a good little thing here and there. But they were able to capture something that worked really, really well. And I think that right now there's a sort of like a denial of what fans actually want. And since then, Marvel has radically tried to change direction, in part because of money. They don't want to pay the royalty fees, in part because they have creators that have their own agendas. Another faction would be the whole desire to race bane, gender swap, all that sort of like bending that they do of the lore. And now they're kind of stuck where they have all these different things out there to pull from. None of them have this massive fan base attached to them as being like the next thing they should do, in large part because the Thor, Iron Man, Captain America stuff was not the top stuff. The top stuff was Spider-Man and X-Men. And then you have little phases of things that kind of ebb and flow when it comes to sales and fandom. They were never sort of like always top tier things. I mean, that may be a shock to people that are out there loving their Iron Man, but reality is Iron Man was not some top selling comic book month in, month out for like 30 years or anything like that. It would ebb and flow. There would be good runs that would phase out and it would just slump again. Now they don't know what to do. It's like they're just trying to grab random things, and they're grabbing random things that don't always go together. Like, so this is new Falcon Cap with old Serpent Society with Red Hulk, and none of those three things were together. None of those three things have one story that they're adapting. This is a piecemeal hodgepodge quilt of a story. Who knows what we're going to end up with, right? I really couldn't even tell you. And I think that because we feel that way, this is coming out in February. This is going to be maybe a bigger impact on where the MCU is and goes than I thought because people are going to be coming off of the Deadpool Wolverine thing. So I would assume there's going to be a bit of a nice residual high on that. They should probably get a little bit of a bump for Captain America 4. And if it's not good or it's another setback, maybe people start to realize, man, some of the magic just is gone. And I think some of the magic being gone is sort of what is going to happen because they've created such a small world that they want to pull from. They don't want to pick out the best of the best stories and just adapt them. They don't. They want to piecemeal things together with these new change characters, the agenda pieces. They want to have royalties go to certain individuals. They want to prop up certain characters. It's just where we're at. And it's kind of a hard reality to face that it feels like Marvel's on this high and it's running. And then when you step back and go, wait a minute, 1/3 of the things they talked about, no one's talking about. I don't know that I've seen Captain America 4. I've seen anything with Giancarlo Esposito, Serpent Society. I've seen not even Red Hulk. I feel like it just, well, that was a flash in the pan. And because Robert Downey Jr. and Dr. Doom took all the air out of the room. So maybe that was a mistake on their part. I don't know. Time will tell. You guys tell me what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I am Pops.